All right, this is page 2 of your review for normal distribution. The information below represents the quiz data for 4 students among 4 different classes. Find their actual grades. Find their actual grades. That's the data. That's X. That's the equation we're doing. So we have the mean, the standard deviation, and this child's z-score, depending on a kid. So we have to do this equation 4 different times, but it's the same equation every time. Z, standard deviation, plus your mean. So for Kate, the Z, she has 1.6, so she's above her mean, times 5, plus the mean of 83. And then we put it in the calculator. 1.6 times 5 plus 83, 91. And we do that same thing 3 times. If you have not already, pause the video and do it yourself. This is for you to practice, so watching me do it all will not help you practice. So pause the video, get your calculator. The z-score is negative 2.8. The standard deviation, his standard deviation is 2.5. And the mean for that class was 87. Put it all in the calculator. This is below the mean, so he should have a negative, a score lower than 87. If you get something higher than 87, you did it wrong. 80. 2 more times. I'm gonna pause the video, keep it short, do the next 2. All right, check your answers. Here's what I put in the calculator. 91, 80, I knew 78, and then 99. Make sure your answers match. When you're reading these questions, sometimes it's better to read the last part first. What would the standard deviation be? Okay, that means we're looking for the standard deviation. On average, the average person spends $10 on a meal. That's your mean. One particular person spent $8.35. That is data. That is somebody's score. That person's z-score is negative 0.67. So if we're looking for the standard deviation, we're using this equation. X minus the mean divided by the z-score. Sorry, standard deviation. Those 4 equations should be in your on your note card for tomorrow. The mean is 10. The z-score is negative 0.67, and we're putting in the calculator. Alpha, y equals, enter. 8.35 minus 10 divided by negative 0.67. Anytime you're finding a standard deviation, or really every time, I'm just rounding 2 decimal places. So 2.46. 2.46. How long does it take the average person? How long does it take? That's X. What's what we're looking for? Taylor spent 23 minutes driving to Greer High School. No, it's not. We're not finding X, because that's X. Taylor spent 23 minutes driving to Greer High School one morning. Her z-score is 0.12. How long does it take the average person, so the mean, if the standard deviation is 4.8? So looking for the mean. Mean equals X minus Z times standard deviation. Mean equals X minus Z times our standard deviation. Fill it all in, because the mean is what we're looking for, the average person, on average. Taylor spent 23 minutes and had a z-score of 0.12 and a standard deviation of 4.8. So 23 minus 0.12 times 4.8. 22.42 minutes. You can check your answer by just making sure her z-score is right. Since z-score, alpha y equals enter, is her time, 23, minus the mean, divided by the standard deviation, should give you her z-score of 0.12. Otherwise, you did it wrong. So 0.12. We rounded, so it's a little rounded, but good way to check your answer. 11, Catherine recorded the weekly number of hours she worked in the summer. So this is how many hours she's worked each day of the summer. If the mean of the data is 20, remember the mean goes in the middle of your standard curve, and the standard deviation is 5.7, circle all the values that fall within one standard deviation of the mean. So one standard deviation is above or below. That is a standard deviation. So we're looking to see what it fell between. So if I minus one standard deviation or if I add one standard deviation, that is one standard deviation from the mean. So I'm adding 5.7, so that'd be 25.7. And I'm subtracting 5.7. 14.3. So we're looking for numbers in between these two. That's one standard deviation. So 14 is in front of 14.3, so not that one, not that one. And 25 is in between. So these, circle all the values that fall within one standard deviation, all of these. So those 5 answers. That's one way to do it. If you have time on your test though, you can change every single one of these to a z-score. So right now, they are her hours, they're x's. But we can change them all to z-scores. 9, 14, 18, 20, 23, 24, 25, 27. Because we have the mean and we have the standard deviation. So z-scores equals the data, which is this, 9, minus the mean, which is 20, divided by your standard deviation. So we're going to fill in the x every time, minus the mean at 20, divided by your standard deviation of 5.7. So I'm going to plug in 9. Alpha y equals, enter, 9 minus 20 divided by my standard deviation, negative 1.93. That is further than one standard deviation from the mean. It's closer to 2. And then I do the same thing with the next number, 14. Negative 1.05. That's still further by 0.05 than one standard deviation. 18, alpha y equals, enter, 18 minus 20 divided by 5.7, negative 0.35, negative 0.35. Okay, that's the first one within one standard deviation. And I can keep going, so I've already done these calculations, but you would just keep doing what I did. 20 minus 20, well that's 0. 23 minus 20 divided by 5.7. That's 0.53. Then 24, 0.70. I'll put all these in the calculator and show you. 0.88 and 1.23. So 20, 23 is 24, 25. This is over a standard deviation. So these 5 answers are my answer. Same as those 5. But I just kept putting it in the calculator. So that's 2 different ways to do this question. 18, 20, 23, 24. This is how I'm getting all these numbers. 25. 27. So that's the one, the 8 bumped the 2 up to a 3, but it's further than 1. So that's two different ways to do it. What is the z-score? Well, z equals your data minus your mean divided by your standard deviation. The mean price of regular gasoline among several gas stations is $3.52. That's my mean. With a standard deviation of 12 cents. If the gas station closest to Mark charges $3.59, what is its z-score? So is that good? Is using that gas station, is that above the mean, below the mean? Is that a good gas station to go to? So just filled it in. Alpha, y equals, enter. 3.59 minus 3.52 divided by 0.12. And that number is above the mean. So it should be a positive number, 0.58. Z-scores are always rounded 2 decimal places. Okay? And that is that page.